And you were active on the Seattle scene before the grunge exploded. And what was the scene like at that time? I know that you were hanging out with Chris Cornell and other guys before they were famous, right?
You know what's really cool, man? I just did like, I swear, like a 4.5-hour interview. They're not Showtime. You know, Showtime. They're doing a series on Seattle pre-grunge. Like they're doing this, I don't know, 4 or 6-part documentary series on it. So you'll be able to see what that was like. I thought it was very brave of them to want to do a documentary on that, the pre-grunge scene in Seattle. But it was, they got a lot of really cool people to interview. And it was, I didn't leave Seattle because there wasn't great musicians and there's a lot of good players, a lot of positivity as far as like helping out other bands would help other bands out and, loan equipment and shit and riffs and like teach each other how to play guitar. But then, a bunch of heroin came into Seattle in about 82, late 82. And it started wiping out the people around me. Even my roommate, like my best friend and my girlfriend, like it got so close. The guys in my band, I had a really great band, 10 Minute Warning. And one point I just like, it's 1984, early, I had a job at my band. We'd just done a tour with Dead Kennedys, and one of the guys in the band like took what money we made, which was like $300 for the whole tour, and went and got heroin. I was like, all right, I'm done. I ain't doing this. Lost my girlfriend. My roommate's fucking nodding out, and I'm out. So I left. My car could make it to LA, not New York. So I went to LA, and that was it. And then, Bruce Pavitt, who started Sub Pop, I worked with him. We worked at the same restaurant. So he had a column in the local little music. It was called The Rocket, this paper. The column was called Sub Pop. And he'd write about like punk rock scenes and new music and whatever. And he said, I'm gonna put out a single under Sub Pop, under like I'm like, okay, well, I'm moving. And it was really like one of those movie Hollywood scenes. I'm going to put out a single. I'm going to move to LA. And then we both, did well. But I was on the Sub Pop Singles Club. So I have a bunch of those first singles, like Tad, and like I got the stuff. But I was really proud. The first band to really like come down to LA and just was Soundgarden. They came in like, it might have been 88 or 89 or something. And then Alice in Chains and Pearl Jam, they were coming on down and playing clubs. And I was super, super stoked, and Nirvana got Dave Grohl, who I knew from Scream, I knew who Grohl was. I'm like, oh, they got a real, not that the drummer before wasn't a real drummer, but they got a guy. Like, so I was really very proud of my town. That's where I was from, and I was very stoked. Really unreal, like that Seattle became the place. It'd be like suddenly Łódź, becoming like this, the center of the world rock and roll scene. Seattle's not a big. It certainly wasn't a big town then.
Yeah.
But before that, there was a great punk scene, and there was a great bunch of musicians, and like you said, Chris was around, and Kim Dale was around, and Mark Arm and Stone and Jeff Ament and other bands, But there was, and Mike McCready I knew from the neighborhood. We were friends since we were like 14 or something. And our high school was like a rock and roll high school. Like all those people, we all went through the same high school. If you did a who's who at our high school, you'd be like, what's going on at the high school? Well, nothing. It just happened to be, there was these jam rooms in the high school that you could go, instead of taking music, you could go jam with people, and they were soundproof. We would just go in there and rock out, to, like play Led Zeppelin and the Clash, you know, for your third period. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe